2022. And I believe I need nominations for chair. Do I hear any nominations for chair?
I'd like to nominate Jim Carey.
Second.
We have a first and a second for nominations for Jim Carey as chair.
Sarah.
Shane McCampbell,
Aye.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carey.
Yes.
Now we need nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Shane McCampbell, vice chair.
Second.
I think that was Tom's
Was
second.
that Tom? Okay.
Yes, I was me.
Okay.
Jim Carey.
It didn't seem like Tom really was into it with his answer. It didn't seem like, I really wasn't feeling it.
Tom Broker.
That's all the emotion you're gonna get out of me today. Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yeah.
What's that? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you can take it from here, Mr. Perry.
Okay, we shall move on. Thank Ms. Johnson for taking care of all that first stuff. I hope you people don't get used to just seeing me by myself up there, you know. So,
We will always be with you, Jim.
okay. Is there any changes to the tentative agenda?
I have none.
I have none. Do you gentlemen have any?
I do not.
Okay. Meet with department heads and elected officials. We'll start out with Sarah Doty, the payroll clerk.
We have a few agenda items with some upcoming changes, but other than that, just staying busy as usual.
Okay. Terry Johnson, county auditor.
Just working on my budget for next fiscal year and preparing for all of the budget hearings that'll be taking place this week and next week.
Okay. Lisa Schaefer, county attorney.
We have a jury trial going today for the remainder of the week. We have a jury trial next week. That will go all week. We have a jury trial at the end of the month. We're hoping to squeeze in maybe an extra one if at all possible. Our COVID waiver date is February 1st. So the end of this month, we will have to figure out how to resolve all the other cases that are still lingering as their speedy or their time deadlines will have run on February 1. Other than that, we're just working on the budget. Terry, our new attorney, started today or yesterday. She's actually with Chris right now, kind of getting a feel for how we do jury trials in Des Moines County, which apparently is a little bit different than everywhere else in the world. Other than that, just working on the budget and staying warm.
Well, that's the hard thing. But it sounds like you got everything under control, Colby.
I control what I can control and I cede what I know I can't.
Thank you. Colin, yours?
Just keeping busy like always, getting ready for the budget hearing here on Thursday. Other than that, nothing new to report.
Okay, thank you. Kevin Glendenning, county sheriff.
Things are going well. We worked through our retirements and our promotions last week, and we're off and running. We have a couple new deputies back from the academy and one that starts today. So just a lot of transitions that we continue to work through. Been a busy week on law enforcement and jail side. We hit a low last week of 55 in our inmate population, and we're up to 64, but we've been able to maintain Newada County, so we're really happy with where we're at on things.
Good. Do you have any ready to go out?
We had 5 in the intake this morning, so it was a busy night last night, so
Oh.
we jumped up 5 overnight. So they we'll see that number go down this morning.
Thank you, Kevin. Zach James, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning.
Yeah, good morning. Kind of business as usual. Got a couple subdivisions, got a floodplain ordinance, or not ordinance, application that's outstanding. A couple minor things. I'm gonna leave some plats here from a subdivision we approved in early December. There was an error on the second page that you guys had stamped and signed. Luckily it hadn't been recorded yet, so we're just gonna need those re-stamped and signed to fix that error. I don't know when to squeeze this in, but I do want to mention trying to get a work session for our zoning and airport ordinances sometime, possibly this month. I know we got all the budget hearings. Speaking of, we have our budget hearing for the planning commission next Tuesday. So Mike and I are meeting about that. But like I mentioned, I actually have jury duty next week, so I don't know if I'll be here or not, but Mike will be here regardless. And then just a separate thing, but the RFQ for the public health building, any responses are due back, I believe, this Friday. So we've had, I think, three companies directly reach out to us with questions, so I would expect those firms for sure to submit something, and then you never know who else might send something in, but we'll have information about that hopefully by Friday.
Okay, thanks, Jack. How about Cheryl? She is our budget director.
It's been busy, but we have a budget amendment today, and
Okay.
just want to remind everybody, budget hearings start today, so if you have your budget stuff ready, just let me know and I'll put it in the shared folder and the board can take a look at it, so.
Good. Thanks, Cheryl. Ken, with mental health, how's everything going?
Going good. I think this time of year, Cheryl is my best friend, I just want to say.
I think she's everybody's
My-
best friend this
yeah.
time of year.
My budget hearing is tomorrow, so I just need her so much, and I appreciate her so much for meeting with me, you know, with Fund 10 ending June 30th, and so MHDS is really changing, and now we've got the state funding all of our services instead of a levy, and we've got the fiscal agent budget will be the only budget really to submit for that, but I'll still have my general assistance budget to turn in tomorrow. So it's just a lot of changes, but we're working through them and doing okay, so.
Thanks, Ken. Janelle, how's the treasurer's office?
We're keeping busy, but nothing new to report.
That's a new report. Thank you. Brian Carter, Secondary Roads.
Good morning. I want to say thanks to the guys. We got a little bit of everything going on, including snow over the weekend. So it was some long hours Saturday, finished up with some long hours on Sunday. But in general, I think we got everything covered. We did finish a couple things up. As you know, we're shorthanded on one motor grader position. Most of the equipment ran fine. I think we blew one hydraulic hose. One truck's sitting up at Mac now that needs to be fixed for something else. But in general, with the spares we had, we were able to keep everything moving. So that's good for the first storm, especially a big one. So thank you to them for their time. And other than that, I don't know, a lot of stuff going on. Mostly clean up and repair now. Obviously finished up some of our typical summer work and head towards doing some trees and stuff like that. And like everybody else, it's budget time. So working towards that and just going from there.
Well, thank you. They did a good job on the road. You can relay that to them.
I'll pass it on.
I'm sure
Thank you.
the other board feels the same way. So. Chris Lee, Conservation.
Good morning. Like everybody else, working on budget. We do have a board meeting tomorrow where my board, Conservation Board, will approve our budget request, and then I'll get that to Cheryl for a budget hearing next week on Monday. Otherwise, our park ranger just started the law enforcement academy today, and so he'll be there at that for the next 16 weeks. And then when he turns out, he'll be working with the sheriff's department. We have a really good working relationship with them, and get some more here local training, and then turn them loose for the busy patrol season, which is, when you really look at it on the calendar, it's not that far away. So, yeah. None.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Natalie, the reporter's office.
Good morning, just keeping busy like everyone else, and I do have a item on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you. Gina, emergency management, how's that going?
Good. Obviously with the weather last weekend, we sent out quite a few weather reports from the National Weather Service to give everybody a heads up and during the storm, etc. If someone's not on my email list and you want to be on it, let me know, I'll get you on it. We send out reports when we get them from the Weather Service, and a lot of times they'll do calls, kind of weather briefings and give us more details. So I'll usually send out a report on after that. Obviously, working on the budget. My commission's not meeting till the end of the month, and I will have a new chair since Hans Troslow retired. But I've got it pretty well done. I'll get the numbers to Cheryl to plug into the county's budget that way. And we're also looking at some policies that we may need to either adopt the counties or develop our own for the grants that we receive. So that's gonna be on my commission's agenda at the end of the month. Working on grant applications and emergency support functions with our planning process. So keeping busy with all of those. And then tonight we have our potluck with our volunteers. We usually have a holiday potluck, so that is this evening.
Okay, thank you. Sounds like everything's going great then.
Yeah, just extremely busy as always, so.
Angie, how's safety doing?
Good morning, so far so good. Kind of the same thing, working on budgets, trying to get things caught up, you know, make sure we're all prepared to go into the new year. It's gonna be a better new year. I do wanna thank Gina, getting that information gives us time to plan and kind of think ahead and figure out what's gonna go on, and I trust her information a lot more than I do the Weather Channel, so. But really, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Rodney, how's the maintenance?
Doing good. We had a busy weekend as well, so I gotta thank the guys. We came in Saturday and Sunday both to get things cleared off, so I wanna thank the guys. They did a really good job. So we were busy this weekend. Just had a few mechanical things. Those things always come up, even though you think you're prepared. You have a few of them, so. We had a few minor ones, got through those, got everything cleared off. And so just a reminder, with the way kind of the weather is, you know, all the snow's piled up, even in the shadows or when the sun goes down, a lot of that will kind of melt with the sun out, but run across sidewalks and parking lots and it'll freeze back up when it's this cold. So just still be careful whether you're here or wherever when you're walking. It is winter in Iowa, so kind of keep that in mind when you're walking around. Other than that, just working on the budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rodney. How is public health going?
We're doing well, thank you. We continue to have positive COVID cases in our county. Currently, we're at 11%. We've had 70 cases in the last 7 days. That will update again tomorrow. We are continuing to give COVID vaccine, either initial dose, second doses, or booster doses for anyone 12 and up on Mondays and Wednesdays from 8:30 to 4. And on Thursdays for children 5 to 11. So, and we're still a Test Iowa site for anyone who needs to pick up a test kit. We ask them that they call when they come to public health. We don't ask people who are ill to come into our building, but we bring the tests out to them, and then it's a test kit that they can take home, test, and then they can either return or send in through UPS. So that's keeping us busy.
Chris, are they going to, people that had the shots and then a booster shot, is there gonna be a second booster shot coming?
So they're already, the CDC has already recommended that people who are immunocompromised look at getting that second booster shot. So those guidelines for that are on the CDC website, but yes, people, so that would people who may have had a history of a organ transplant or a history of cancer, or taking any of the immunosuppressant, like prednisone type of, you know, the high dose prednisone. So those recommendations are on the CDC website, but yes, currently that's all that I've heard about.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss anybody? Don't think so. We shall move on. Correspondence. Seeing no correspondence, do any of you gentlemen have any correspondence?
I don't, Jim.
Okay.
But just if you give me just a second, what I am going to request is, you've got a public hearing or two coming up. Wait to 2 minutes so somebody can call in if they have a comment on the public hearing. I might disappear to go get another cup of coffee if we're gonna require the use of my voice. The most unfortunate thing about this
Mrs. Broker likes it.
My ability to talk is limited.
I'll bet Mrs. Broker don't mind that at
Here
all.
for a minute, that's where I'm going, I'll be right back.
Okay. How about you, Shane? You have any correspondence?
Yeah, I was out plowing with the boys and, hello, man, nobody's talking to me right now.
Okay. Seeing that, we shall move on for discussion and vote. We have a public hearing for the fiscal year 22 budget amendment.
It's an open public hearing.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCanville,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, the public hearing is for the budget amendment. That would be you, Cheryl.
That would be me. So we are requesting $2,232,044. In May of this year, we received $3,784,442 from the American Rescue Plan Act grant. And we are requesting to budget to spend $1.5 million of that this fiscal year. We may or may not spend all that, but we're gonna put it in the budget so we have that spending authority. Have several projects you guys have discussed over and over again, so I'm not gonna list them all, but that are in the works. We're also gonna finish up this Highway 99 bridge. Some of the the expenditures carried over into this fiscal year. So $273,912 is for the capital project fund, and $431,532 is for debt service. We also had the 235th grading project. We received $10,500 in revenue from the landowners. So we have to expense, to show that money going out also, so that's a wash. Then we have the roll-off dumpster fees and solid waste that are gonna be over budget before the end of the year. So we're asking for $2,400 for that. And maintenance traded a lawnmower in that had a blown engine for a new mower, and that's $13,700. So that's the total of $2.2 million. And some change.
Okay. We will give the public, anybody wants to call in for comments, 2 minutes. They can either email board@DesMoinesDMCounty.com or call 319-753-8203, extension 4. Again, that's board@DesMoinesDMCounty.com or call 319-753-8203, extension 4, and we'll give you 2 minutes. I hope Tom got his coffee.
Looks like you went to go get it.
Anybody?
Don't let her forget to, got a problem with Friday's budget.
What do you say?
Shane, you're too quiet. We can't quite hear you.
That's new.
I've got a problem with Friday's budget hearings, and I've got a doctor's appointment there, so I need to make sure I don't forget to address it.
Shane, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What kind of donut was you eating a while ago?
Kind of what?
Donut.
Actually, it wasn't a donut, Whitman's chocolate. I've been nibbling on.
This is Monday morning.
It was a gift.
Okay, the time's just about up. Hearing nobody calling in. Or no email yet.
Jim?
Yes.
I've got a comment just basically for the press so everybody's clear. The reason we have to have a budget amendment is for like the bridge, where we thought we were gonna finish that last year. We already budgeted that money and appropriated it for last year, but we didn't spend it, so we have to have spending authority to spend it this year.
Okay.
You got some of that American Rescue Plan, that wasn't part of our budget. The federal government sent that to us, and we can't spend a penny of it until we have spending authority. It has to be in a budget. So most of this is just, it's not something new that the taxpayers are picking up.
Yep.
Would that be fair, Cheryl?
Yep.
Yep. Thanks, Tom. That makes Cheryl's job a lot easier.
He does.
Okay, we need approval of the,
Nope, you need to close your public hearing.
oh, we need to close the public hearing, see? Good.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, now we need approval of the fiscal year 22 budget amendment.
Approve the second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, we'll sign these later, okay. Now we have a public hearing for ordinance number 61. It's established voting precincts as a result of the population change reflected by the 2020 census for Moines County. Need a motion?
Motion open. Motion open. Shane, go ahead. You can start it. Motion to open public hearing. How's that?
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, this is an ordinance establishing voting precincts as a result, reflected by the census of Des Moines County. There's nothing here to read, so if you don't mind, I'll just
Well,
go
there's
ahead.
about 2 pages there, but if you really want to read them.
Well, yeah,
It's a simple ordinance. It's just establishing all of the voting precincts for Des Moines County. The city of Burlington re-precinct, they went down from 9 precincts down to 8. And the big map over on the wall shows those 8 precincts, including West Burlington, that shows all the incorporated areas. And then the other large map shows all of the precincts out in Des Moines County. And due to the change in the representative and senate districts, and due to the population in Burlington, we had to separate. Concordia will now be its own precinct, but they will still be voting at Bethany. They will just have their own ballot, and which was kind of strange because in 2020, the townships voted to appoint all of their township trustees and clerks, so that would not have had to been on the ballot anymore. And we could have combined 8C together in one ballot, but now they're still separated because of having to create their own precinct, because precinct populations, the max is 3,500. And if by the changes that were made, if we added Concordia to precinct 8, it would have been over the requirement. So we had to separate that out. But like I said, though, they will still be voting at the same location. So we aren't changing that for them. Union has been its own precinct for several years. They will still vote at First Church of the Nazarene. We will be looking at some of the precinct locations, actual polling locations, in the future, because those don't have to be established right now. But as it is, I think the way they changed the legislative districts and everything else, Danville and Danville Township will now be in a totally different representative and senate district. So, and I believe this will be the first time that Des Moines, that I know of, since I've been doing it, that Des Moines County will have 2 Senate districts. It's been just one for as long as I can remember. But now we will have 3 representative districts. So they changed things up a little bit, so.
Yep.
But PW is still the same, MY is still the same, HJ is still the same. Of course, now we're calling it BHJ, because it's Benton here and in Jackson. And everything else is pretty well staying the same. It's just around the city of Burlington, around there, that has changed significantly.
It's been hard for you to keep up on all that stuff. The state's been mandating for you to do it.
Well, and because of COVID, everything, the whole census was slowed. And so what we are doing this in October, and here it is January. And we have to have that approved because these new precincts go into effect January the 15th. Whether we have them approved yet or not, they go into effect.
They go into effect with it.
Yeah, so we have to do at least our 2 meetings, so. But that's it. If anybody's got any questions about their precincts.
Okay, we're gonna give public 2 minutes to call in. If they have any comment on our precincts, they can email the board at dmcounty.com, or they can call 319-753-8203, extension 4. That's 319-753-8203, extension 4. We'll give you 2 minutes.
I guess I could further comment that Tama Township has been separated from Precinct 1. Because for many years it was Precinct 1T. And because of that, because now Tama's in a separate representative district now too, so. They will still vote at Oak Street.
Still vote at Oak Street?
Yep, that will still be their polling location, but they will have their own ballot now.
So out of curiosity, Terry, is that an advantage for us to have more representatives now? Bigger voice? Or is it worse?
No comment.
That's a loaded question.
Because the Danville and Danville Township are more tied in with districts over in Henry County.
We had, never could understand that, for sure, because we had Dave, he was representative, Burlington had Dennis. Yeah. But it's nice to be able to talk to both of them, so. Okay, 2 minutes is up. We need a motion to close the public hearing.
Move that we close public hearing.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, we need,
Motion to approve the first.
motion to approve the precinct changes. Okay.
So moved.
First reading.
Second.
So moved.
Okay,
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
yes.
Terry,
Yes?
how many readings do we need? Can we waive the second one or the third one?
The third one you can. We'll have it one more time and then you can waive the third one next week.
And that would get it passed in time?
Yes, yep, because
Okay.
then everything's being submitted online now, so it makes it easier and quicker.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to, we have accounts payable in the amount of $248,960.83.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay. Board committee assignments. I think Shane and I talked about,
Reimbursement.
Oh, payroll claims.
There should be payroll claims.
I marked that off. Payroll claims. Okay. You guys gonna get reimbursed, this goes, how are we gonna keep that if we don't? Yeah. We have payroll claims reimbursements, for $44.94, and non-cash taxable is nothing.
I move to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. That off with, everything else there. Now we can go to the board committee assignments. Since we've had this, I've got problems meeting one of the, committees, and I think Shane and I talked here a while back of him taking over the, landfill. We haven't, he's been sick and we haven't talked about it. Does that still sound good to you, Shane?
Yeah, we still got it.
Okay, and then I was going to take, you have to help me out here, is a CAP,
Yeah,
the Community Action Neighborhood CAP Council?
no, it wasn't community action, it was, hold that thought, Jimmy. We'll go public, but just know that I've got yours, and I'll have to, I can't remember which one.
Okay, so Shane's gonna be doing this together.
Yeah.
So Shane's gonna be doing the landfill.
He's gonna be doing a landfill, cause they had the landfill at,
Oh, I can't
I
tell.
heard somebody laughing, I heard someone laughing.
You're hearing things again.
Okay, and so you guys are working on what other one
Yeah.
what you're switching with them?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, thanks, Shane.
Yes, sir.
So,
Did you want
we have to
to wait
vote on
on
them?
that, or
Do we vote on these?
do you wanna table it till next week?
Let's table this until next week then,
Once you guys decide.
and then we get completely decided, then we'll go through and approve it.
Okay.
I make a motion, we table it.
Second.
You should have a stamp on there that says table.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Okay.
Combination commissioner.
Get these things stuck together.
This is,
What's that?
this is Kevin.
It's Kevin. We have, Sheriff, Linda, any you want to go over this?
Sure. So this is the condemnation appointees by the board. Historically, the sheriff's office has maintained that list. We run the condemnation hearings, but the members are appointed by the Board of Supervisors. What that requires is no less than 28 members. 7 of them are owners of city property. 7 of them are owners of agricultural property, 7 real estate agents, and then 7 that just through their profession have knowledge of property values. So we've prepared that list, and what this is in the event that during eminent domain, that they can't reach a negotiated fair market price, then the chief judge of the district would appoint members of this commission to hold a combination hearing and reach a fair market value. So this is the list that we've compiled. These are members of the community that are willing to serve, and that's up to the board for approval.
Do you want me to read these off, Kevin, or just?
It's completely up to you if you want all the names listed off for the record, or we could just enter this.
This will be on file at the auditor's office, they can get it, so. We need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Tom, push approve.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Thanks, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Okay, next we have the City of Danville, Des Moines County Law Enforcement Agreement. This is for the School Resource Officer Agreement. Kevin, do you want to?
Actually, for the, just provide law enforcement for the city of Danville. So historically, the sheriff's office provides law enforcement to Danville, Mediapolis, and Middletown. Each year, we negotiate those contracts based on a formula that I use to reach the cost to provide law enforcement for a certain number of hours that we agree on with each city. In this case, the hours stayed the same with Danville. We had some increases in some costs, but there's about a 4.2% increase this year. Danville's already approved this through their city council. We just asked the board to approve it so we can continue to provide that law enforcement service.
Thank you, Kevin. Gentlemen, need a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Sarah.
Shane McCampbell,
My God, Danville needs law too. Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, next we have an approval of the digitalization proposal for the recorder's office. And this is one that we kind of overpassed when we did the rest of them, and we kind of missed this one.
Yes, so when I turned in the two other proposals,
Yeah.
I forgot to include this additional one, so.
Just to be clear, Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, go ahead.
Okay, just to be clear, this was something we had always discussed. This was slipped through it's nothing that has been added or something. It was the board's intent to perform the digitalization for the recorder in the auditor's office. This is just, there were several quotes, and this was one small part of it that was left out. So I would make the motion to approve that. This is one of the American Rescue Plan expenses, and will be covered by those funds.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. For your information, it's $13,160.51.
Thanks, Jim.
A request proposal for relocation Department of Human Service offices.
Whether you guys even want to address this yet or not, because there's questions about the dates. Because this is basically following on an RFP that we had from 13 years ago, I think, the last time that we moved VHS. And there's been questions about the time frame, because everything moves so slowly anymore, especially anything that needs to be remodeled. And then also in the number of years for the lease. Because I think some places that might be bidding on that question the expense of remodeling and whether to have a longer term lease. So whether you guys want to change any dates or anything on there so that I can update that and get that out there? Or anybody have any suggestions?
Well, I suggest,
I know you've spoken to one particular entity about providing space. Did they give you any concerns about the length of the lease? Were they?
They were concerned about the short 3-year term lease. So that's why I didn't know if you guys, I didn't ask them for sure on the length. I can ask them again, but whether you guys want to extend it out to DHS has been in their current location. Watch it, Lori. They've been there, over 10 years, so,
over here,
yeah.
And quite honestly, they would still be there
Yeah.
if they could.
yeah.
So whether you guys want to extend it to a 10-year lease?
Every time we move them, it costs quite a little bit of money, and I'd like to have a longer lease myself, Tom, Jane. I don't know about you guys, but I think we should have it minimum of 5-year lease.
I tend to agree with you, Jim, if they're gonna pay to remodel to meet DHS specifications,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to recoup that investment, that expense. It'll be a lot easier to recoup it over 5 years than it would be over 3.
Okay, and then what about requesting possession of those offices? They feel that April the 1st might be too short of a time frame. Do we want to extend that out to June the 1st, July the 1st?
We budgeted through June 30th.
Uh-huh.
We are. And I think that the current landlord, if we get out by June 30th, I think they're okay with that.
So you want me to put a June the 30th, 2022 date on there?
At least the other members of the board.
I agree with you on that, Tom. I see Rodney back there looking. What's your feeling, Rodney?
Oh, and Rodney, just to clarify for you, you would not have to move all those cubicles. DHS has contacted the person or the company that put in those cubicles, so you wouldn't have to move those.
A little more time, the better for us.
Rodney says that more time, better for him, so.
Good. And Terry, you said that DHS has made arrangements to get those cubicles moved?
They have contacted the company that put in those cubicles to begin with. And so that's an option, that they can move those and reset those up for them. Of course, it's gonna cost, but yeah, but at least they're doing it, not Rodney.
Thank you.
That sounds good to me, and I'm sure it sounds good to Rodney.
Yep,
He's smiling,
absolutely.
so.
Well, if we've got a smile on Rodney's face, let's go with that.
Yep.
So it'll be 5 or 10 years.
So do you want, Tom, I'd say minimum of 5 years, but Sarah just asked 5 or 10 years. I have no problem going for 10 years myself.
I'm more of a 5 man, but I'm open.
Could you reach out to the party you're speaking to, Terry, and ask them if 5 years would look a little better to them?
Okay. I
If
can
they
do
say
that.
no, it need to be more like 10, just sort of touch base with them.
Okay, I will.
5's better than 10, unless we can't get a good deal for 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and then the option to renew for another additional 5 years instead of 3, so maybe put 5 and
With
5.
an option would work.
Yeah,
That's what I used to lease them buildings for.
so is there anything else on there that anybody feels needs to be updated or changed? Because it's basically all the information that DHS gave me and.
This same, I don't-
Oh, and then the other thing is, the proposal requirements. Of course, this isn't gonna work here, well, it has to be delivered here by January the 6th. Do we want to put that, I'll check with them, so it might be next week before, do we wanna shoot for the end of the January to get any proposals?
Yeah.
Or that last Tuesday anyway, we can vote on it.
What's our last meeting of the month is on
25th,
21?
25th,
Okay, so we'd want to have it here by the
18th.
24th.
Yes, 24th.
Yeah.
18th is the one before.
And to have them here by Monday,
Have them here by Monday, so we can,
Monday, January the 24th, so you can vote on them on the 25th.
yeah, you can, when you fill the agenda out, you can put what we're gonna vote on and stuff. If they don't get them to us, fine.
Okay. I'll make those changes and I'll get it posted on the county website and sent out.
Okay, does anybody wanna make a motion on this with the changes that she's going to ask about the 5-year lease and get the proposal on January the 24th?
Move that we accept with the changes made.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Next, we have resignation. Board members, this letter is to inform you that I must resign from my position as Des Moines County Medical Examiner. I have accepted a new position at Mercy, Iowa City, and relocated. Dr. Megan Worcester, SEIRMC, general surgeon, is eager to take on the role. I will continue to serve as long as needed for a seamless transition and will be available anytime for questions moving forward. It has been a privilege to work for the county and the state. Regards, Craig Houston, MD. So,
Motion to accept the request for resignation.
Sarah?
Did Shane, okay. Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. And we want to thank Dr. Houston for the services that he has given to Des Moines County, and we really appreciated it. He came at a good time for us. Okay. And we have a contract between Des Moines County and Cale Heitmeyer for medical examiner investigator services. It's between Des Moines County and Board of Supervisors and Cale Heitmeyer. So, what's your wishes on this, gentlemen? She's already signed it? He's already signed it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, here's now we've got the Des Moines County COVID-19 vaccine testing policy. This is kind of a lengthy policy. I could read it, but I think,
Jim, can I address that?
yeah, go ahead, Tom.
We've been working on this a little bit. The attorney, OSHA issued a mandate that everybody, all employers that employ over 100 people, institute a vaccine/vaccine mandate. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals stated, and the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals said it's back in effect. And the Supreme Court is supposed to hear arguments on it Friday, the 7th. And essentially, what it is that, OSHA requires all employers of more than 100 people to either require their employees to be vaccinated or to wear a mask and be tested weekly. The vaccination mask mandate is supposed to go into effect next Monday, the 10th. And anybody that isn't vaccinated would have to wear a mask. The testing part of the requirement would not go into effect until would not go into effect until February 9th. This is nothing the county has thought. It's, we're just in the middle. Anyway, so, I sent out emails yesterday to everybody about the a policy and a communication about what was involved. It would be appreciated if people could get proof of vaccine, or there's a form you can fill out if you don't, if you lost your certification, your card, or that you can attest that you have had the. Otherwise, Monday, if you have not been vaccinated, you would have to wear a mask. As I said, the Supreme Court is gonna hear arguments Friday. They could stay this, I don't know. But, we would appreciate it if, people would, if you know you've been vaccinated, you have a card, or fill out one of the attestation forms later this, sometime by Friday. And, the county will keep you apprised if we hear anything about the, a court ruling.
Who do they turn that
Now,
information into?
this is out of our hands.
Tom, I think on there, I read through that, and correct me if I'm not right, maybe Krista, but let's say somebody works, let's use one of Brian's employees, where he's in a motor grader all day by himself and he doesn't have to have that mask. That's the
There
way.
is in the policy that if you aren't working
Yeah,
with somebody else or inside with somebody else, if you're
Yeah.
working outside, that it does not apply to you.
yeah, that's the way I read it too, so.
It's not a particularly long policy.
Yeah.
And, I encourage, department heads to make sure that their employees are aware of what it says if they have not read it, and that it's out there. I know some departments, it's hard for all their employees to have email accounts, and they don't, like secondary roads.
Okay.
Tom, I've also had questions that if proof has not been turned in, will we just assume that they are not vaccinated and they will be required to test and wear a mask?
Nobody will be required to test until February 9th. That's, that's just not, doesn't go into effect till then. But next Monday, unless the Supreme Court overturns or stays that order, if they don't have proof of vaccination or fill out the attestation, you know, that they lost their card, but they got it at a public health clinic or something like that, they will be required to wear a mask when
Okay,
they're
but,
at work.
but come
If they're
February
by
9th,
themselves.
but if,
Excuse me?
if come February 9th, we still don't have anything from them, will they still be required to test?
Well, if the court doesn't overturn this or stay it, then February 9th, that's when the testing part of it will go into effect. The testing is dealt with in our policy. The county is not interested in, or does not want our employees to have to pay for the testing. The county will pay for it and administer it through public health. I spoke to Christie yesterday.
I assume they'll be able to use sick leave when they need to come do that, or will that just be during work hours whenever the supervisor says they can go do that?
I'm pretty sure that they can, or it's in the policy. I really hate to quote that right now, but like I said, that won't go into effect for another month. And if it's any of, I'm not a particular fan of this policy, but
So,
nobody at the federal level cares about that.
can I ask one more question to clarify on Sarah's question? I have an employee that asked specifically, if they don't submit anything by this Friday, are they just assumed to be positive or unvaccinated as on Monday? They don't mind that, they just don't want to turn anything in.
That is my understanding. If you
Okay.
do not turn in a proof of vaccination or fill out the form that says you have been vaccinated, you will be assumed to be and required to wear a mask.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the county will provide masks. Anybody that needs them.
That answers your question there.
Yes, thank you.
Can I add that anyone who needs a copy of their card, say they've misplaced it, they can come to public health, all the vaccines are put into the state system, and so we can pull up that information and get them duplicate cards if they would like duplicate cards.
So come Monday, if somebody doesn't follow either one of those, what do we do?
Good question.
Depends on what the Supreme Court's gonna do on Sunday, or on the
Friday.
7th. And so they'll either have to have a card or proof, you've been vaccinated, and if they don't have that, you'll have to wear a mask until you either get vaccinated or have proof of it.
Well, she
I
said
think
it's
now
like
the question is if they
repercussions
refuse to wear the mask.
if they refuse to do any of it.
Or we start disciplinary proceedings, is that what we do?
I'm not looking at that policy right now. I suspect it says that they are subject to discipline up to and including discharge. I think, Lisa, is that how you remember it?
Yes.
And I know you're not looking at it either.
No, but that is how I remember it. I know I already have one employee said, fire me, because there's no intention of following the mandate and made it clear to me. So we will probably with him skip the progressive discipline because he's made it clear he doesn't care, terminate me. But yeah, I think the department, so if you normally, verbal warning, the next day they refuse to wear the mask, it's a written warning, third day suspension, fourth day termination.
Personally, and Lisa would probably have a better idea. I really expect the Supreme Court to at least stay this. I don't really expect them to decide this over one day of arguments. Do you, Lisa?
Taken from a legal point of view, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get upheld Friday.
What?
Get upheld Friday.
Oh, okay.
Just knowing the jurisprudence of some of the justices who take the approach of a very strong executive branch, I don't know that they're necessarily gonna wanna step on the toes. I
We
foresee it
will
being
know in the
upheld.
next few days.
We will know in the next few days. We'll find out exactly how partisan the justices are, or if they actually follow their past precedent in their own rulings.
I've heard that some employers offer exceptions if employees turn in a request for exemption based on religious or medical reasons. Is there
That's for the
anything-
vaccine, but that does not get them out of the mask. There is no religious exemption for wearing a mask.
Sure, okay. Just was wondering about that.
And I do have generic forms for those, Tom, that I pulled offline, but you said you guys are working on getting ones for the county?
Working on them, but I know that the
Exemption.
the law firm is
Is working on putting those together?
Emily is working on that.
Okay.
And there are, I mean, religious exemptions have been in place for vaccinations, for schools, for instance, for decades. So I'm assuming they're just gonna bootstrap some of those policies and forms for what they already have.
Now, I know those, you said that doesn't get them out of the mask, but what about the testing part?
We'll still have to test.
That I don't know. I don't depend on OSHA's policy.
Okay.
Because I don't think OSHA has actually formalized the testing policy yet. So
Okay.
we don't know completely what's happening with that. That's why it's not going into effect until February 8th, because they're still tweaking
They're still,
that.
okay,
Well, even the concerns of having the test available. I mean,
yeah.
is this gonna be the ones that get mailed in, or is this gonna be the quick test?
We had talked about be the ones that Test Iowa has and using those, and then they come pick up those tests, or we make sure that they're handed to the departments and they can hand them out, and then they can send them back in with UPS or drop them off at our office. But we've been very fortunate, we're getting a good supply of those. Now, I don't know what'll happen when this goes into force all through the county. I don't know how we'll be sitting for test kits, but at this point in time, you know, because there's lots of industries that have more than 100 employees, but at this point, we have plenty of tests.
Now, Krista, do you still have the runner that comes down and gets the test from you?
We do, we have the State Hygienic Lab courier that comes every day at 10 o'clock. So most people will pick up a test and then bring it back to us before 10 o'clock the next day, and it goes out, and then they usually get the test back within 24 hours. You have to mail it in, obviously, you have to wait for it to get there by mail, so it takes a little longer, but yeah, they come down every day.
This may be a question for later if it does pass, but is that the only way they can test is through the health department?
The OSHA has not formalized their policies for
Okay,
what's
so we
gonna
won't
be
know that till
required.
later.
So the county really is. But OSHA still is formalizing their regulation of what will be acceptable and what won't.
There were, the county had 3 choices for the testing, and again, we've got a month to work out the logistics of this if it comes to that. But you have the choice about the employee getting the testing and the employee bearing the burden. We did not want that. Or we had another one about the employee getting the testing and the employer, the county, picking up the cost. That seemed like a lot of extra. Not quite as efficiently as when we have our own public health department that can, we can set up some sort of a operation to get that done in-house. So, but again, we've got another 30 days before that comes into play. So if this mandate's upheld, we will be coming up with something. Right now, we're making a good faith effort to enforce the OSHA mandate, is what this policy is.
I'm like everybody else, it makes it tough. You know, when the government says you have to do this, and we're down at the bottom of the chain, so it's making it tough on us. And the government's got ways to fine you, and that's like taking money away from you. They'll find some way to hurt the county if we don't go
Well,
by
if
this.
if the employer does not enforce the mandate,
Yeah.
it starts out with a almost $14,000
Yeah.
fine, and it just works its way up to a $700,000 fine. And that comes to the employer, not the employee.
And the federal government can take funds away, right? Can't
Federal
they take
government
all the
can end
money
up
away
taking
that's-
funding away.
So, you know, yeah,
Yep,
it's,
they can take, might even get in Carter's pocket there, we don't want that.
I personally think they should pay to hire somebody to help keep track of it,
So,
but you won't see that.
How many employees does the county have?
Oh, I think 213-ish.
It varies, but yeah.
Ish.
well, gentlemen, we've had discussion. Anybody else have anything to talk about on this?
If there's no further comment, I would move to approve the Des Moines County COVID-19 vaccine testing policy.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Mm.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. No, that's- Grabbed the wrong one. Here's already done, I think. Might check that. We already approved that one. I had it over here,
Oh.
grabbed it by mistake.
I'm gonna have to redo this, because when we record it, the recorder might have an issue. We'll figure
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah.
Could I ask for your indulgence just a second, get some more coffee? I've done more talking than the last, than I've done in a while.
Okay.
I'm out of coffee again.
You go ahead and we'll keep them occupied here while you get your coffee.
Next time we have to go to the bathroom.
Terry, did you hear Shane, did he vote for or against that?
No. Shane, did you vote no?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure we heard correctly.
You did vote.
Yeah. Stamp approval on that sheet. That's the only one that needs it. You got your paper clip over there, or are you stealing my paper clips too?
Where is it?
Here's one. Thank you.
I don't have it.
Nope, we're fine, we got one covered.
We got an intermission here for Mr. Broker. We gotta wait on him. I think he sounded pretty good. I don't think he really went on a coffee run. I think he did, but to get rid of it.
Really do both.
Lisa, thanks for answering all them questions on that.
What?
Thanks for answering all that OSHA stuff there.
No problem.
I read through that twice yesterday.
Okay.
Still don't understand it.
We can go back to digitization, because I just want people to realize that you have so many different documents in your office. That part of this contract was for the microfilm versions, and part of it's for the books.
Correct.
And is there any other, is that just the two difference?
Yeah, we only have 3 different ways, the books, the microfilm, and the computer, so. The records go back to 1830, and so
Those are mostly the books.
those are
Isn't
deed
that
books,
crazy?
and mortgage books, and index books, and miscellaneous books, and tax lien books, so yeah.
And then everything that's on microfilm is probably from what, the early 70s?
78 to 92. We already have the deeds done, but that's all the mortgages, which usually are like 6 pages, one card. A mortgage is usually 12 pages, so. So the mortgages and the miscellaneous books are what is on the microfilm.
And all I had to work with was the books, because we don't have anything on microfilm, because if we have anything on microfilm, it came from your office, so.
They're both back.
Tom's back?
They're both back.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Not a problem. We've been discussing. We wanted to know if you went for a coffee run, if you want to get more coffee or get rid of some.
Oh, I'm still drinking. That's what, it's, the thing that bothers me most about this particular infection is it interferes with my ability to communicate. It doesn't seem to bother Mrs. Broker, except that I've given it to her.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not good.
Apparently her vaccine mandate didn't work.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to personnel actions. I'm gonna read these off. We got 8 of them for the Correctional Center. And I'd like to do all 8 of them and then get a vote on it, if that's fine. The first one is Holly Carpenter, 18-month step increase. Previous was $41,928 and 92 cents. New rate is $42,856.48. Next one is Dakota Day, 12-month step increase, anniversary. Previous rate, $41,928.92. The new rate, $42,856.48. The next one is for Hillary May, 36-month step increase. Previous is $43,699.63. New rate, $44,559.59. The next one is Cody Reynolds, excuse me. 12-month step increase. Previous $40,859.52. New rate is $41,928.92. And the next one is Wayne Smith, Correctional Officer, full-time. Resignation.
That one actually has a letter with it as well,
The letter
Jim.
goes with that.
And I got a letter with it here. The resignation is, it says, Dear Jail Administrator Doug Irving, please accept this letter as notice of my resignation effective at the end of my shift on January the 3rd, 2023, as I begin my retirement. Thank you, Wayne Smith. Well, thank him for his service that he gave, and he,
If I could add, Wayne's
Yeah.
retiring after more than 30 years of service. Our correctional officers work in a difficult environment, and he was
Absolutely.
one of the most reliable, dependable employees we've had, so he'll definitely be missed. We thank him for his service.
the next one is Zoe Elan, 6-month step increase. And correctional officer part-time. Previous rate, $13.14 an hour. The new rate's $15.99 an hour.
That should be the,
Excuse me?
oh no,
There's two more.
What's that?
There should be two more.
this one is no.
Terry and I count for me. I was trying to take my shoe off and she see me. This is Tucker Hills, or is that?
Pulse.
Tulse?
Pulse, yeah.
Pulse. Resignation, part-time officer. There's no letter with this one. And then I have, an anniversary for Kendra Whalen. Missed 3 months, step increase. It's an anniversary. Previous rate was $9.02 an hour. New rate is $10.52 an hour. That concludes the correction center. What's your gentleman's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Shane, you there?
Didn't catch that second, my bad.
Okay.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yeah.
Kim Carey.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna sign these real quick here. Don't you notice I'm gonna give you
Okay, give me
a
Thank
clip back. Okay, the next one I have is, got 4 of them for DESCOM. If we could do the same thing with the DESCOM. Kaylee Rodifer, communication operator, resuming full-time employment at previous rate, effective 12/27/21. It doesn't give a rate here what she's making.
Should be 52,416.
52,416. Put them on there then, okay. The second one is for telecommunicator operator is Wayne Zach. Resignation. And the next one is Rick Grimshaw. And it's DESCOM custodial, that would be for retirement. And the next one is Martha Grimshaw, DESCOM custodial. Motion? What's that?
She's taking over for that.
A new rate of $15 an hour. Okay, gentlemen, that concludes them.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. There wasn't any clips with this one. Okay,
You should have one final one.
now we got one final one here for emergency management. Cynthia Bowen, step increase. Previous rate $17.75 an hour, new rate $18.25 an hour.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Y'all not used to hearing Shane talk that quiet.
I know.
Okay, now we have the minutes for the regular meeting on December 21st, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Is there any other business?
I have none.
I have none. Future agenda item. The only thing we got, maybe getting Zach once on, toward the end of the month there for an update on some of the policies he's been going over. So we'll kind of look at that, see where we can come up with him on that. Do you have any idea, Shane or Tom?
Talking about the zoning.
Yeah, about zoning.
Not next week, but the week after the
That-
budget.
We've got, what, the last two Tuesdays in January,
Yeah.
18th, that would be after the budget hearing, so.
Okay. We got the 18th and
25th.
the 25th.
Any preference? Zach?
I think those are fine, let me just double check the calendars here. 18th looks, yeah, both of those look fine for us.
Let's go with the 18th.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, gentlemen?
Okay with me.
Okay,
And that's for the zoning and the airport, or just the zoning?
just,
Just the zoning for this one?
Sure. We can do the airport as a
Do
separate
that.
one,
The following week?
maybe the following week.
Okay.
and then we'll put the airport on the following week. I don't know if you heard that. Does that sound okay? Here's no answer, yes. Terry says good. Committee reports. I had none.
Hey, actually, I did have other business from Friday on the 7th.
Oh, he said he couldn't be here
Oh, yeah.
on the
Oh,
7th for
okay.
budget hearings.
I have an 11 o'clock appointment on Friday.
Okay.
That's the only issue I have with
Okay. Public input. We'll give you 2 minutes for public input. You can call, email in the board at DesMoinesCounty.com or call 319-753-8203. Again, that's board at DesMoinesCounty.com or call 319-753-8203, extension 4. We'll give you 2 minutes to do that.
Are we gonna reschedule the budget hearings for Friday then, or what's the plan?
No, we'll still have them,
Yeah.
because Tom will be able to be here online, it's just that Shane won't be here.
And
Probably only get a look at my face, Kevin.
finally, I asked Jim earlier as well, have either of you had any, I guess, correspondence from CWA reference to the union negotiations?
Yesterday afternoon, Emily heard from Bonnie, and Bonnie, I think they're gonna be on Thursday the 6th. So, and I see I've gotten a couple emails from her. So I will look at those right after this meeting. But I'm assuming I might have to change the budget hearings on Thursday. Because it looks like that's when Bonnie and CWA are gonna be here to negotiate.
Okay.
I will let you know for sure, Kevin.
And let me know for sure.
I will.
Tom,
I just want Kevin to know.
you said that's in the
Get back to it
afternoon?
Once I find out.
Tom, you said that's in the afternoon?
I don't know, what, I haven't looked at it. I would guess if they're coming to negotiate, typically, we start about 9 AM.
Okay, that's good.
I believe one of their deputy, or one of the groups, the deputies groups, was under the understanding of 10, and then the correctional officers were under the understanding of 12:30.
That might be, Kevin, I have not, I'm just in the past, I remember it was in Moines, so that's, I will know more in a little while, hopefully.
Okay, 2 minutes is up. With an aye, we're out of here.
Aye.
Aye. Folks, thank you for putting up with me up here.
You did wonderful.
Name tag was already moved, like it was expected.
Well, that's because